it's just fun to have musicians like that on stage with you, where you get to have fun every night. It's not like a Broadway musical. We're not doing the same exact thing every night. Certain things will, like I said, the parameters stay the same. Within those parameters, we have a lot of fun music.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Will Turpin of Collective Soul. How are you doing, man?
Doing good, man. On the road in a hotel room here. Got my gold curtain behind me.
Nice. That's all good. I've been hoteling it all over the country myself lately, so I know the feeling. I appreciate you making the time. Still on the road supporting Vibrating, 30 plus years as a band, many milestones and anniversaries coming up. Just generally about touring. At this stage of the band's career, you have so much material to draw from, plus a relatively new album. Obviously, some songs can never come out of the set list or fans will riot.
Yeah.
But how do you pick, split up the other albums and the lesser known?
Well, really just mess around with them on stage, and there's some songs we're probably not even going to try, but for the most part, we also have a skeleton of songs we know we're going to play also. So I think a lot of times we just start with the skeleton. Hey, let's play heavy early. Let's get Shine done at the halfway point, which is kind of where we're at right now. We're getting it past us, and let's close out with these, and then we try to fill in, and we'll listen to what people want to hear, but we just kind of just sound check a few of them and see which ones kind of flow best, and then we know, and honestly we'll write a set list, but it'll change a little bit. But once we get through the midway of the summer, like we're past the midway point now, we've got a really strong set list that flows perfectly right now. But it's not about where they ranked or how many number ones. Obviously, again, there's certain songs we're going to play no matter what, but it's just about flow and making sure everybody's enjoying the vibe of the whole set list.
Right on. I just figured after so many hit songs, played some of these songs tens of thousands. Hopefully you still enjoy them, shared with you, as opposed to like, oh, this is
No, not at all. We have fun playing music. Johnny Rabb has been our drummer now for a little over a decade, and man, we're able to have a lot of fun in some of the same parameters of the songs, but we don't play them the same way every night. We mess around with it, so it's just fun to have musicians like that on stage with you, where you get to have fun every night. It's not like a Broadway musical. We're not doing the same exact thing every night. Certain things will, like I said, the parameters stay the same. Within those parameters, we have a lot of fun music.
nice. Johnny Rabb, the one-time fastest drummer in the world, by the way, and probably still can be.
Yeah, he was a Guinness Book of World Records at one point.
But so yeah, so fun. And there's I noticed took a sneak peek at the set list. Thank you, Setlist FM. And I see you guys are doing covers. You're always so great at cover songs. Some of my favorite Collective Soul shows have had amazing covers. How do you pick a cover? I don't want to spoil it for the fans, but how do you guys choose cover song to
One that the fans love? I don't. Yeah, sometimes we try stuff and we're like, maybe not. We can just tell when it's super electric. The one we're doing now is like a tip of the cap to REM and us growing up in Georgia, and how we were proud of that band for kind of forging a different sound out of the South. We were used to the R&B soul. We were used to the Southern rock coming out of Georgia, but it's tip of the hat to them for being like the first band that kind of didn't sound like a Southern rock band, and that meant a lot to us. And of course, you got Collective Soul, who we don't necessarily, we love those roots and we love those bands, but that wasn't necessarily
understood. And REM, really the first breakout alternative rock band ever, to a band with hits that just stayed with you, and I'm so glad we lived in the time. I'm gonna just share for a second. I mentioned off air my previous Collective Soul experiences. Woodstock 99, when you guys played back to back with Seven Dust, and you did two covers, I Will Follow by you two and Crazy Train, and they were unbelievably great. The whole set was great. You guys were fire. Everybody, it was like hot time. Dosage had just come out, I think, so a few months earlier, so it was like 25 years of that. Next year, 25 years of Woodstock 99. Not as great a memory for everybody, but you guys were unbelievably great that day.
Yeah, thanks, man. That footage has all been re-released in high def, and it's fun to watch. But yeah, man, we when I watch some videos like that too, it's almost like, whoa, people say different lifetime, and I remember it. But the vibe and the feel when you see yourself on video and you remember what that vibe was like to be in it in 1999. That would have been our fourth record that was just released in 5 years. We were on a roll. So I watched that footage, and there's like a 12-minute version of Blame. So yeah, we're doing a lot of the same stuff, man. We're on about a 10-minute version of December right now. We're venturing into all kind of solos, really fun stuff. But yeah, like you said, man, when I look back at those videos,
right on. Prolific back then and prolific now, really. Several records in a row in quick succession, and you also had a solo record out in this time, these last few years, and obviously we had the big global psychotic sickness and break, so we don't want to go there, but that was good for at least making art, creativity. But you guys have always been so hardworking, and
yeah, I think yeah, anybody who follows the career and understands that Collective Soul has always been prolific. Part of that obviously is Ed's prolific songwriting. He comes to us with really good songs a lot of times, or often, I should say. They're always good songs, but he just doesn't stop, and we don't have any desire to stop, man. It still feels really good to us. If it felt like a chore, if it felt like nobody cared about the stuff and we weren't creating anything that was significant, we wouldn't be doing it. But we're super proud of it, and we do feel like it's significant and people want to hear it. And like I said, it feels, the creative side feels like we're on a flow like we were really in the late 90s. It feels like that, as far as how good it feels and how prolific the material is.
I feel like Vibrating, good record. I think hopefully not overlooked. I hope, beside the diehard, a lot of them are selling out. I do hope that more people become aware of this record, because I think it was one of the better records. And I will say, just as a sidebar, I also was obviously a fan, but I always love that your bass lines are very, even on Vibrating, they have their own musical quality, like almost their own little song, like a Paul McCartney thing. And I'll be, like, hey, this bass line could just be a cool thing by itself in the structure of this great song. So I know that, I know Ed brings in a lot of the material, but like, how do you just kind of hear what the song gives you and go, or does that allow you the freedom to?
Yeah, and we need that. He kind of needs that. He shows me ideas, and then we have to make it, we have to develop it, make it sound like a Collective Soul song. And you, as a bass player, I guess you're hearing a little bit of that, of what, that's how I go about it. I try to make something that's in the rhythm section, but it complements the song, but it's also its own part. I don't think about it from a technical aspect, like you said. I let it come to me and just try to open my ears and my soul to whatever I can get to come out of me. And when it's okay, then we try to build on that. Yeah, who'd you compare me to?
Oh, well, only Sir Paul McCartney, but other guys, no big whoop. Some guy, he might make it someday. I don't know. Maybe no one's heard of him. I'm not sure. I think the thing to me, the way I always approach bass, besides listening to the song, you listen to what the drummer's doing, and then I think the best bass players know when to not play. And so then you're talking about a John Paul Jones, so many others, but like that's like when you drop out and you let the music breathe a little, and then you come back, or you have like ghost notes or a little walk. You have so many cool walking lines in your career, as well as on Vibrating, that I really appreciate it. It really makes the song beyond just the beat, and I think a lot of people, because everybody wants to rock the F out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to just link up with the riffs and just rock hard, but I think bass playing's much more subtle and majestic, that if it's allowed to be.
Yeah. And you mentioned another one. Like, honestly, if I have to say who I look at, who I really would a fan of what they did in their band as a bass player, John Paul Jones would definitely be one of my favorites of all time. Paul McCartney, stay out of the way of the vocal, but try to find something signature that helps the song be something different, and again, I just create by feel. And it starts with being a band and taking care of the song.
And then in addition to the band, which is rocking and still rolling after 30 plus years, you had a nice little solo career whenever you have the time. I thought the last record, you had come through a lot of personal grief and drama, and hopefully that's all behind now. But what's any news of any future?
Yeah, I got some more tunes. I've been silver linings as far as pandemics were concerned. Collective Soul got to create a lot. I stumbled on some more songs that I think are worthy of another release, and I spent a lot of time at my studio. My legacy, I tell everybody, it's my legacy. It's the studio that my father started. Yeah, I'm there a lot, creating a lot, and there's gonna be more in the future for sure.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll link all that in the description. Shout out to providing me with all the links. And it is a real Georgia Story, your father's studio is now yours, and if I'm not mistaken, Ed worked before Collective Soul was a thing, or before you were in Collective Soul. Ed worked there. Ed worked at your father's studio, producing other bands, engineering, doing, recordings. Did you have interactions with him before you were in the band? Did you know, like, this guy's genius? Or, I don't want to, if I was Ed on the phone, I wouldn't, if we were talking to Ed, I wouldn't say this, but, like, I'm asking you, did you, like, see a spark in this guy back then? Like, oh my God, I have to make music with this guy.
Oh, for sure. That's part of the story, man. That's absolutely part of the story. Basically, Dean is 2 years younger than me. So there's a 9-year difference between Ed and Dean. My earliest memory, I mean, I'm growing up in that, it's a small town story. And speaking of next year, Collective Soul has more music, but we also have the quintessential career documentary coming out next year. So all these answers will become very clear to you sometime next year. But it's a small town story like no other. Even my grandfather knew Ed and Dean's father from old school. Like their father was the music minister and the preacher at the Baptist church, and my grandfather would have been a superintendent of Henry County schools. And so when my dad got out of the Army, was in a band and started a studio there in '76. So the 80s rolled around, and Ed is down the street, and the families all knew each other. But Ed came back from Berkeley. I believe that was a pretty quick stint at Berkeley, and almost immediately after he came back, he went and asked my father if he could learn how to be an engineer, and he learned how to be an engineer there. And it was a little bit of a ways to the means. My father supported him and told him, "Hey, man, on all the free time, you work on your craft, brother." Ed did not take that lightly, and I watched him work on his craft. Me and my friends watched him work on his craft. I remember being in high school jamming to Ed's solo records. I mean, we all appreciated his songs. It wasn't Collective Soul yet, but we all watched him work on it, and we all appreciated his songs, and we're big fans. We'd go watch him play live, and as the story goes, basically, me, Shane, and Ross and Dean were coming up through high school. Ed's bandmates were getting married and getting real jobs, and here we come up, 7.5 years younger than Ed, and slowly the pieces came together. 20 years of overnight success, but that studio was the hub, and Ed was an head engineer there, probably 6 years.
Amazing! I can't wait to see this doc. Get my brain ready, and you have a lot to celebrate. Obviously, I remember when Hints came out, it was so. Like, I was like, how is this a relatively new band? It sounds like a veteran band's 10th album, not the first album. The songwriting, not just, I know, there's a lot to say about this stuff, or stuff we probably has left not talked about the music business at the time, and things that happened, but, like, the record is still holds up for me. I listened to it recently, just right out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, the first record, there's a story behind that as far as, some of those songs were recorded as a band in the studio, and a lot of those songs were recorded pretty much as Ed as an individual. He was starting to question whether a rock band would be viable, and he was going to make some demos of some of these songs and shop them out to other people to see if maybe somebody would record his song. So the first record, Hints and Allegations, is Hints and Allegations because it really wasn't a band record. But again, I think the studio gave us all, especially Ed, because he was older and he worked there. I think it gave the whole band, Collective Soul, a very we just had a very professional studio acumen. We knew how to service a song. I mean, my dad was teaching me how to play drum set for songwriter demos and how to stay out of the way and let the vocal take the space here. You stay out of the way here. Da 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 da. I was 14 years old learning that. So Collective Soul came out of the box a much more seasoned studio band than your average rock and roll band.
Totally, and I totally envision you as a little kid running around the studio, but also like piano, multi-instrumentalist over time. But like, I love the idea of you being really like the training grounds, the proving grounds for the rest of your life. Very remarkable, and obviously
and a big part of why we have so many different influences on a Collective Soul record. It's really hard to pigeon Collective Soul as one sound. And that's another reason why there's so many different elements we bring into our music, and I think that was part of it too. Again, Ed would have been engineering anything from a bluegrass record to we always like to mention one of his first complete records he engineered was RuPaul's record out of Atlanta. So you got to see all kind of different genres, and we all did. And like you said, yeah, man, I was running around as a little kid. There's still some old school musicians in Atlanta that remember me as the little dude with some fake 6 shooters on my waist and running around in my underwear. You know, that was my thing. I've been told that was my thing. I don't remember this, but
Maybe there will be some incriminating photos in the documentary. All of these children, because cringe is in now. We want to cringe at ourselves in retrospect as self
cringe is
awareness.
in.
Cringe is in. It is. This cringy stuff is, new metal is back. We love it. We hate it. We love it again. You guys also survived that. Like, in a lot of ways, you guys brought back, like, a heavy rock and a classic rock kind of flavor at the time when, again, it was all these things. Korn was popping off at the exact same time, and other things became, like, TRL staples. And then here you are also at these same festivals at Korn, Limp Bizkit, Metallica within a few years. I know you joked about a 20-year overnight success, but literally within 6 months of seeing you guys that first time live, I was at Woodstock 94 and everybody was singing Shine. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was absolutely banana. And we all felt it. Like my friend group, which included guys I had bands with, we were like, oh my, look at this band, like the next generation band. It was
yeah,
you
it was
guys.
What a great story. And 30 years, hard to believe, man. Hard to believe.
Yeah. I just interviewed Kevin from Candlebox. I know they're kind of on, sort of literally their new album's called The Long Goodbye, and it's a farewell tour now. I feel like you guys are still going very strong. Personal reasons, family. I appreciate that you guys are still out there doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. We did and we're still not 30 years later. We still don't look back, man. We're still looking forward. Double album next year. Documentary, nice. Probably a box set right before Christmas next year. You're gonna get tired of hearing about us, man. So,
well, not me, but maybe everyone else. not this guy, and 8 other bass. Just to give you back your day and let you relax before gig time. Just one last question. I love to end these with a wild card question. My wild card question for you is: what is your favorite non-popular song? Maybe one you guys don't.
There's a lot of them. I'll go with something more recent. Okay. How about, can I answer 2-part? Can I go like something from the Atlantic Records years?
Bring it.
So the Atlantic Records years, it's a song called Untitled, second track on the Blue record. We used to play that song live before it was released, and then after it was released, we never played it live. And I love that song. I was, especially in that era, I really thought that song was that was the strongest to me. That was the strongest collective soul song. Of course, it never was even a single. In more recent times, it's Them Blues off of Blood. Yeah, that song's freaking awesome. So that's all. That's how I'll close that one out with.
Will Turpin of Collective. So great to catch up with you. Good luck and be safe out on the road. We're going to review one of the shows. I'm really excited about it. Thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult.
Yeah, man. Cheers, buddy. I appreciate your time too, man. Good to see you again after a few decades.
Indeed. Take care. Thanks.